Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Jason Lipfeld, and this is the Hostos Student Leadership Academy annual winter workshop series, the 16th year. And in a crazy set of circumstances, Josh Fredenburg, our speaker for this afternoon, our final speaker of the week, is actually in my office. So it's a strange thing, but it's a great thing. I was very excited to see Josh in person. But just in case you're hearing an echo in the background, we're going to try to work it out, but we are in rooms back to back. But I want to just do a brief introduction, and then I'm just going to turn you over to Josh. So Josh Fredenburg is internationally known, a great speaker who has visited college campuses around the world. He does extraordinary work. We met him at a conference in Brooklyn a couple of years ago, and I was thinking Medgar Evers, right? And my students said, we have to bring Josh to our campus, and we invited him, and he was a gentleman, and he came and visited with us. And Josh did some in-person workshops with us over the years, and then continued to do workshops with us in virtual land. But Josh is like an expert at a lot of different things. He runs his own leadership conference, the Circle of Change Leadership Conference. And Josh, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but I think I got it right. And so you will get the great benefit of him. The one story I'll tell right before we start, because he's here, is the last time I think he was here, we were out in our lounge and we had a rainbow come in the room while Josh was speaking. And I told Josh, but I caught it on videotape, but I didn't save the videotape. I was doing a Facebook Live. So I caught it on a Facebook Live. And then you know how you do it, you post it and then it disappears, whatever. So I just wanted to let you know that this guy brings rainbows. So you have Dr. Joshua Fredenburg, and I turn it over to you, Josh. I'm so excited. Here.
Awesome. Well, it's good to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak again, Jason, for this wonderful leadership conference. I had no idea that I would be in the office on my laptop doing a virtual presentation. I literally flew up this morning and was really coming into the office with the thought that I was going to be in person, and then I found out that we're virtual. And so I don't have my virtual producer, I don't have my camera, my lights. So you have the authentic, raw footage of Dr. Joshua Fredenburg. The wonderful thing is that I actually do know my presentation inside out. So it's not going to be a problem at all. And I'm able to improvise. When you've spoken for so many years, you've dealt with a variety of different situations and scenarios. You know how to modify and adjust as you go. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And so before we do get started, one of the things I do want to do is I just want to get an opportunity to know who's in the room. And so really quickly, if you could do me a favor and if someone wouldn't mind opening their screen, if that's okay. If not, you can just unmute yourself. But I just want to get an opportunity to know. I'm gonna ask. I'll call three people because I have a list right here on the side of me. I'm gonna want to know your name. I'm gonna want to know three words that describe you, and then I'm gonna want to know what is your expectation. So over these next couple of hours, 90 minutes, I want to know what is your expectation? What is it that you desire to get out of this leadership session? So if anyone wants to volunteer, you can unmute yourself or come on the screen, and I'll give you about 5 seconds to do so. If I do not hear from anyone, I will do the wonderful pleasure of just asking people to talk. 5, 4, 3, 2, voila. Adrian, how you doing, Adrian?
Greetings. Hello, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So where are you coming from?
Greetings. So I'm coming actually from City Tech. So I attend City Tech CUNY.
Okay.
I'm actually part of student government as well at
Okay.
City Tech.
Okay.
And three words I would describe myself as I'm very passionate, very humbled, and I love teamwork. Overall leadership has always been something that always has been a pleasure and opportunity to work with so many different people from so many different backgrounds, and getting to learn new experiences is the best opportunity to network. So that's why I love leadership overall. It's a great opportunity.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Adrian, it's so nice to meet you. And I'm like,
So
man,
nice
I
to
got conversation with y'all all day long. Okay, I may really modify my presentation, y'all, because I may go into Q&A and all that good stuff. But Adrian, it's so nice to meet you. And Adrian, what is your expectation? What is something you want to get out this session today?
Well, something I want to get out of the session today is just to learn more about different type of leadership roles, and how can I bring it to like other student leaders as well too, and kind of get this different type of expectations to what it takes to become a student leader more. So yeah, that's what I basically plan on learning for today.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Can we give Adrian a big round of applause in virtual land? Let Adrian know we appreciate him and so thankful. You were the first one, Adrian. So that is amazing. Keisha, how you doing, Keisha?
I am good.
Did I say that right? Did I say
yeah.
the name right? Okay, cool.
Yes, you did. My name is Keisha Anderson. I also go to City Tech. I am actually part of the National Society of Leadership and Success chapter there.
Uh-huh.
3 words to describe myself. Evolutionary, strong, and knowledgeable.
Okay.
What do I expect to get out of this session? Essentially, is just to get to know your story a little more. What, as an experienced leader, have you, noticed about things, and, to see if I can take some keys with me into my career along my way.
I love that. That's awesome, Keisha. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for sharing as well. We appreciate it. Can we give Keisha a round of applause in virtual land? Get a couple of more people. And so if anyone wants to volunteer again, you can hop on. But if not, I will start calling on some wonderful people.
Hi,
Carla. Oh, someone, who's that?
Melissa.
Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
I'm good. My name is Melissa Gonzalez. I'm
Uh,
also from City Tech.
okay.
3 words that I would describe myself by is passionate, dedicated, and hardworking.
Mhm.
And I'm really here to learn more and see how I can incorporate these things into my daily life.
I love it. Thank you so much, Melissa. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Nice to meet you as well.
I love it. I see Raja. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, Raja.
Also, how you doing, Raja?
I'm doing good. And my name is Raja Bari, and I'm also from City Tech.
Okay.
And the 3 words I would describe myself are dedicated, hardworking, and persistent.
Mhm.
And what I want to take away from this is how I can be a better leader and learn more about anything that I didn't know previously.
Okay. I love it. Well, Roger, thank you so much for sharing as well. Can we give Roger a round of applause as well? Awesome. Fantastic. So we're going to get ready to take off, and we're going to get ready to get into the presentation. A couple of things just wanted to make you all aware of. Number one, I often say the more interactive that we are, the more impactful the program is. So definitely, I love the interaction, love the engagement. You'll be going into breakout rooms as well. So definitely be ready to talk and to converse and to engage with one another. And then the second thing, as I said earlier, which I'll have my PowerPoint up in a minute. So you'll see me in a small box, but I'll keep coming back vice versa throughout the presentation, just so you all can see me as well. But we're getting ready to jump into this thing. And just to let you all know a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Dr. Joshua Fredenburg, aka Dr. J. Nationally recognized speaker, been speaking for literally 16 plus years. I've been to 49 different states. The only state that I have not been to is Alaska. So we'll see if that happens one day. Author of 7 books. My latest book is Red Leadership. I actually have a new one that'll be coming out this year. I'm a certified emotional intelligence coach. And as Jason said, I'm also the president of what we call the Circle of Change Leadership Experience, which is a national conference that we do each year in Southern California that prepares students for career leadership success. And it's really innovative, unique, and really a transformational experience. And we also do a first gen student career conference in Miami, Florida, that actually is coming up April 12th through the 14th of this year. And it's all focused on first generation students, career success, leadership success. And if you're not able to get there, we do have a virtual option. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely let me know. And another thing, I even told Jason about this, we're launching this year. It's going to be a financial literacy conference. So basically, it's going to be a conference focused on helping students become more financially more prepared as far as financial is concerned. And so that'll be coming up later this year as well. Again, that'll be virtual. So if you have questions, let me know. But we're here today to talk about leadership. So let me just take you on a journey. Approximately 20 years ago, I was a student at Long Beach State University. Long Beach State University is located in Long Beach, California. It's actually the city where Snoop Dogg was born, and all the wonderful hip hop artists that came out of Long Beach, California. That's where I went to school. And when I went to school at Long Beach State University, I was really involved. I was an active student leader. I was a part of multiple organizations. I did launched a television talk show. I was part of a campus-based ministry. We launched the NAACP chapter, and I did lots of successful and impactful and wonderful events as a student leader. And if you were to ask me the question, the moment I graduated from college, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself as a leader? I would have flat out told you I would give myself a 10, because I just felt like I was an effective leader. I felt like I understood leadership. I felt like I knew what it meant to be a leader, and I felt like I made a difference as a leader. That was my attitude once I graduated from college. About 3 years later, I decided to pursue a doctoral degree from Biola University in organizational leadership. And literally in the first semester of class, I realized that I was actually not a great leader. I was a below average leader. I realized really quickly throughout this program that although I had the experience, although I had the positions, although I had impact, I never really reached my fullest potential. And the reason I didn't reach my fullest potential is because I never really had leadership development training. I was thrown into a position, I was given the opportunity to lead, but I never really developed the skills or the understanding more in depth of what it really meant to be a leader. And it's one of the reasons I love this quote by Vince Lombardi. He's a former football coach for the Green Bay Packers. And he says, and I quote, he says, "Leaders are made, they're not born." And I love that statement, because what it reveals to us is that in order to be a great leader, there has to be a developmental process. You can have the natural abilities to lead. You can have certain characteristics of an effective leader. But one of your abilities, but one of the things that I discovered in my journey is that in order to be effective, I actually had to develop the skill sets. And so this is why I said I was a below average leader, because I had the roles, I had the position, I had the experience, but again, I never went through a process where I could develop the proper skill sets in order to become what I call an effective leader. In essence, as I tell people all the time, if I'm going to be a great leader, if I'm going to develop in a great leader, number one, I got to have what I call a solid definition of leadership. I got to understand what is leadership, because there's a lot of different definitions. There's a lot of different opinions. There's a lot of different thoughts as it relates to leadership. And what I realized in my master's program is if I was going to be an effective leader, not only do I need a definition, but I need to understand what leadership is so that I can determine whether or not I'm effective or not. The second thing that I learned is leadership is very broad. And so I got to be aware of the different characteristics, the different traits, and the different things that I can add to my leadership toolbox in order to be more effective. The third thing that I talked about is I need to learn is different leadership styles. We're going to talk about 3 today, but there's a variety of leadership styles. Number one, that you have to understand, but I think most importantly, how do I extract different concepts and begin to implement them as a leader? And then integrated with all of that, I need leadership coaching. I need experiences with the different leadership concepts. And then I need to be committed to lifelong learning. One of the things I tell people all the time is that you never stop learning. You never stop growing as a leader. Despite my experiences, despite what I've been able to do, I'm still always learning. And so this is one of the reasons why I felt like I was an ineffective leader, because I was working off my natural abilities. I was working on what I was, I guess, endowed with as an individual, but I never really trained, I never really developed and really began to put the different leadership skill sets around me that would enable me to become that much more effective. And it's one of the reasons why I feel like that leadership training is so important, because programs like this really make a difference, because the more you engage in conferences, the more you engage in retreats, the more you engage in events and in speakers, you become more knowledgeable, but also more aware of what you need to do in order to become that much more effective as a leader. Now, as we begin this journey, if you were to ask me about what did I learn about leadership, the first thing I would say is, number one, I learned leadership is service. It's all about serving other people. If I'm going to be an effective leader, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. If I'm going to be a great leader, I have to understand that the foundation, the core of leadership is about serving other people, whether it's serving people around you, whether it's serving your team, whether it's serving your institution. It all comes back to service. Number two, I like to say the effectiveness of a leader is not based on how much money, fame, status, or power they have, but rather on their impact. I found that a lot of people get intimidated. A lot of people don't see themselves as leaders because maybe they don't have a lot of money. Maybe they don't have the status. Maybe they don't have the position. Maybe they don't have the power or the fame, when in reality, you can be a leader of your friends. You can be a leader of your family. So don't let your effectiveness of a leader be determined by how much money you have, how famous you are, how much power you have, or status that you have. Because the reality is there are leaders that are making an incredible impact that we know nothing about. And we need more of those type of leaders as well. The third thing I like to always say is a lot of people assume that if I am not a president, a vice president, or have some type of leadership position, then I'm not a leader. Now, again, there is a place for that, but just because you don't have a title does not mean you cannot be a leader. Because again, when you understand that leadership is based on impact and making things around you better, you don't need a title to make an impact. You don't need a title to make the lives of others better. The fourth thing that I learned throughout this journey is that if I'm going to be an effective leader, I got to be effective at building up other people. And that's why I said I was mediocre when I was sharing my story with you, because I was getting things done. I was accomplishing stuff. I was doing events, but I could have done a better job at building my team, building the people that were helping me to do what I was doing as it relates to leadership. The fifth thing I want to share with you is a lot of times people assume because you're the most gifted, automatically you could be a leader. And we see this just challenge a lot with, especially within corporate America, where someone will be very gifted, say in sales, they're great at sales, but they don't know how to lead people. And you can be great at sales or great at skill set, a great artist, a great producer, a great actor, a great singer, but you have no idea how to lead people. And leadership is about people. And so just because I'm gifted, just because I'm really good at something doesn't necessarily mean that I automatically should step into a leadership role. And the other thing I want to share with you that as we go a little bit farther is I said, if we don't prepare ourselves to be leaders, if we don't engage in these type of programs, then ultimately we're setting ourselves up for failure. I had the opportunity to attend a National Campus Activities Conference last year. And one of the things that I share with advisors is I think if there's any time that we need leadership development training, it's right now. The complex situation that you're facing as students and as leaders is, I believe, more complex than it's ever been. And so in order to deal with some of these issues, you have to understand certain skill sets that make up an effective leader. And so that's why I feel like it's even that much more important, because sometimes we fail or we don't reach our fullest potential as a leader, not because we don't have the ability, but because we haven't been trained or we haven't been developed. And the last thing that I'm gonna really focus in, hone in on today, is the importance of leadership styles. Understanding not only is it important as a leader that I understand different leadership styles, but I know how to extract and implement those styles as well. And that's just one of the things that I've discovered in my journey as a leader, is I discovered that if I'm going to be an effective leader, not only do I need to educate and learn about the different styles of leadership, but I need to learn how to extract lessons from these different styles and be able to apply them to ultimately experience positive results. As you can see on the screen, these are just about 9 to 10 different leadership styles. Some of them I'm going to talk about, some of them I'm not. The challenge in the leadership development process is not only identifying or learning about these different styles of leadership, but it's asking myself the question, what specific characteristics, what specific qualities can I extract from these styles of leadership that is ultimately not only going to help me serve the people I'm serving as a leader more effectively, but ultimately going to help me deal with the challenges I'm dealing with as a leader as well. It's really—
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time, what was the charges that you guys gave me?
Wait, who was that? Oh, keep on going. Sorry. So the ability to ultimately extract these styles of leadership, and the reason that's just so important is because what studies have shown is, number one, your style of leadership it impacts engagement, retention, teamwork, effectiveness, growth and development, and ultimately the overall benefit of the organization or team. In essence, if you're going to thrive, if you're going to succeed, if you're going to increase engagement, if you're going to increase retention, if you're going to really begin to see development and growth and positive results, that all goes back to what style of leadership are you leading with? I'm not sure if many of you heard, but today, two what I want to say the word Hall of Fame coaches retired. Nick Saban from the University of Alabama and Bill Belichick from the New England Patriots. And one of the things that was fascinating to me as I was hearing a commentator talk about Nick Saban today when I was on the plane is he said the style of leadership that Nick Saban used when he first started coaching is completely different today. And he talked about how Nick Saban had to adjust and modify his style of leadership in order to be effective. And the only way you can modify and adjust your style of leadership is if you develop knowledge about different styles of leadership and you understand your people. And so really understanding these styles of leadership and being able to extract from these styles of leadership, it makes such a huge difference as it relates to your development and your growth as a leader. And so I share all that with you to say, number one, leadership is a lifelong journey. Leadership is a process. And ultimately, my goal today is really simple. What we're going to do is I'm only going to talk to you about 3 styles of leadership that I think will be advantageous for you as it relates to your role as a student leader on your campus. But more importantly, once we identify these styles of leadership, I'm going to challenge you to extract what are some lessons, what are some things you can apply to your personal journey as a leader. And then at the end, based on what you've learned, what style of leadership do you see yourself leading with for this next semester? So you're going to learn about 3 styles of leadership. You're going to be challenged to extract what qualities do you believe are most important for you to serve the people you're serving. And then what you're going to do is at the end, you're going to develop what I call a leadership style statement. So ultimately, that's what we're getting ready to get into today. But before I get into the first style of leadership, you're going to get ready to go into a breakout room. And I'm going to put you in groups of 3. And I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask yourself collectively as a group. Number 1, who was the worst or best leader you've ever had in your professional journey? So when you think about your journey up to this point, who was the worst leader you ever had? And who was the best leader you ever had? Number 2, what are 3 reasons why you believe they're the best or you believe they're the worst? And then number 3, what is one lesson that you can learn from this leader? Now, again, after you go into your breakout rooms, I am going to ask some people to share. So please come here ready to share as a collective group. But you're getting ready to go into your rooms. I'm trying to see if I can divide them up. Okay, we're getting ready to go into the rooms. I'm trying to set this up, everyone. Recreate. Okay, here we go. No, 3. Sorry, everyone. I'm just getting everything ready to go. All right. So you're going to go in there, and it's going to be participants, and then all you have to do is just click on the button. And once you click on the button, you'll begin to go into your room. And then what will happen is I will get a chance to see you back here in the next. I'm going to give you all about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to have a conversation. Again, who's the worst or best leader you ever had? What are 3 reasons why they were horrible or they were good? And then what is one leadership lesson you can learn? So you're going to go into it, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon. Peace. For those who are in here, make sure you go to your breakout rooms. back. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to have everybody back. Really quickly, we look forward to hearing people's perspectives. So the first person that I would like to hear from is one or two people. Who was the worst leader you ever had and why? Anyone want to share that talked about the worst leader? If you want to share, if you just unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. Any volunteers that have dealt with toxic leadership? I got someone. Ashumani? Ashumani, how you doing?
Good, thank you, sir. How are you?
Good, good, good. Where are you coming from?
I am coming from Hostos Community College. I'm one of the student senators.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. So share, so the worst leader you ever had and why?
So in my group, we basically discussed you know, not to mention any particular person, but we generalized like qualities and traits that we find or characterized as bad leadership, worst leadership. So some of the things that we discussed was a leader who does not use the skills and I mean qualities of the team members, does not look at what they're good at and sort of bring them to the table, make them work in areas that they have skills in. And we also made mention of the opposite for the good leadership that utilizes members of the group and involves them, makes them feel you know that sense of belonging and involvement. And we also spoke of being left out in work. One of the members mentioned one person or two taking all of the work and sort of leaving others without any clue where we are in a particular project. So they just kind of feel left out. And so these were some of the things that we discussed as far as bad leadership is concerned.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Can we give
Of course.
a round of applause to Salmanite? Or how do I say it the right way? How do I say it? Make sure I pronounce it right.
Ansumana.
Ansumana. Okay, Ansumana. Give Ansumana a round of applause. Thank you for sharing on behalf of the group. That was awesome. I love it. I love it. So nice to meet you as well.
Likewise. It was a pleasure having you.
Pleasure.
Thank you
Next person. Oh, thanks for having me. Who would like to go next? I get one more person that would like to come share. I see someone. Yes. How you doing, Roger?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Now, where are you coming from?
I'm from City Tech.
Oh, so okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your group share?
Yeah, so what I shared was the best leader I had was my tutor because he's about serving others, which is what leadership is. He's credible because he has the academic credentials, and he's also a coacher. So that would be for me one of the best leaders I've encountered with.
Wow. What is one lesson you learned from him?
Just being respectful, regardless of what other people's background is.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, Roger, that was awesome. That was awesome. Can we give Roger a round of applause in virtual land? Thank you for sharing. I love it. I love it. Can I get one more person? Thank y'all for volunteering. This is great. Love to learn and hear. One more person. Don't be shy. I'm gonna have to call on someone. I'm gonna call on Anna. Anna, are you there?
Hi, I'm Anna. How are you?
Hi, Anna. How you doing?
Good, good, Josh. Okay, so I think in the break room that we were in, we were having a little difficulties being able to hear each other.
Okay.
I was able to go and I was able to share
Okay.
who I felt. The person that I chose as far as great leadership was someone who was not within my exact professional arena, but was someone who was outside, and it was more of like a spiritual, pastoral support, because learning under other leaders before you, people who have experience with large crowds of people who have dealt with people in their worst case scenarios, individuals who have had, their own griefs and sadness and joys to share, was someone that I felt that I didn't want to leave out in my profession, in my academic career. Because these people, even outside of your network, are people who influence you, and maybe I needed to just give it a little more thought and a little more credit to say, you know what, they may have not been directly my professor or someone, but they were definitely someone who helped me in a supportive way to continue on my career path that I have. Was some great leadership skills that I was able to identify was ability to listen, the patience and understanding that not everything's a competition. Sometimes you could be working together in a group and you're on the same team and you're both maybe bachelor degree majors, or maybe you're both nursing majors, and it's not something where you tear each other apart. No, accept your differences, that you're in the same category, in the same academic career together, but you're not in competition with each other. Your talents and your skills are what sets you apart to work in the OR, ER, med surge unit, work in whatever other department that you're going to be working in. And having accepting those differences is a great way of what I learned from my leaders, that we're here to work together and utilize our skills and talents to help support one each other best, and help bring if we can help bring each other's dreams to fruition in a supportive, healthy way. So that's what I just wanted to thank. I wanted to take a moment and be thankful of the leaders outside of academia, to say, you know what, they supported me in an insurmountable way, that this will definitely help me once I choose my path in healthcare career. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's great, Anna. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on and sharing the leader, sharing the experiences. I really appreciate it a lot. And the reason why I asked that question, number one, is because you can learn a lot by hearing different people's perspectives and experiences with positive or negative leaders. And hopefully throughout that conversation, you were able to, understand, what specific skills do I need to make sure I consider as a leader, and then what things that you should definitely not do. So thank you all so much for sharing. And the reason I asked you that question, because it leads me to my first style of leadership. And my first style of leadership that I think is really important as it relates to effective leadership is this concept of being a transformational leader. Many of the leaders that I have aspired to look up to, and I've learned from or gleaned from, they've been transformational. Now, when we deal with transformational leadership, number one, it's focused on encouraging, inspiring, motivating, but ultimately making a positive impact, not only in the people that are around you, but within the organization as well. Transformational leaders are those that not only make the organization better, but ultimately they make others better. They strive to impact others' lives as well. And the reason why this is so important, because transformational leadership not only enables people to grow, to flourish, but more importantly, it also has a positive correlation with retention, with engagement, and productivity of the people on your team as well. Now, we do a transformational leader. Don't do this to me. Sorry, everyone. It's not doing this to me. Sorry. I'm going to put it up real quick. Sorry, it's not doing this to me. Step back. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I apologize. Please give me. Forgive. Okay, I'm coming back in. Oh, you can see me, but I can't see you. And let me play that. What about? Okay, here we go. When we talk about transformational leadership, it's a popular style of leadership, but I always like to break it down into specific qualities. Now, there was a guy by the name of Bass and Avello. This is a scholarly individual that did research on leadership. And the first component of transformational leaders, what they call individualized consideration. Again, that's a very big word, but let me break it down to you. Ultimately, a transformational leader is an exceptional listener. And I heard, I believe Anna talked about being an exceptional listener. They're effective communicators. So ultimately, this type of leader is able to communicate effectively. And then lastly, they care about the well-being of other people. So the first component of a transformational leader is they're an exceptional listener. They're great communicators, written and oral, and then they have a desire and they care about the well-being of people. The second one is what they call intellectual stimulation. And ultimately, this is dealing with leaders that are creative, they're innovative, they collaborate well with others. I know many of you talked about being able to work with one another, being able to identify strengths and come together. They're exceptional problem solvers. and they're open to new ways of doing things. So one of the great things about a transformational leader is asking themselves, how can I make things better? How can I make this organization better? How can I make people better? Again, they're all about growth. They're all about development. The third one is what they call inspirational motivation. It's the third component. This deals with vision. Do you have a vision? Are you casting a vision? Are you purpose driven? Are you passionate about what you're doing? And then also dealing with the ability to inspire and to motivate other people. And the last one is what they call idolized influence. And this deals with ethical behavior, integrity, doing the right thing, someone that can be trusted, dependable, positive example. These are some of the attributes of transformational leadership. So when you see this term, the transformational leadership style, these different components is a breakdown of the qualities, the characteristics, and the traits that we must consider in order to experience the results of being transformational. As I shared with you earlier, the transformational leader is not only going to be effective at retaining, engaging, and developing more strong leaders around you, but they're gonna be in position to transform organizations. They're gonna create vision. They're gonna create a culture that ignites success in others. They're gonna cause people to improve, to grow, to develop, and they're gonna help people to overcome different challenges. These are the experiences. These are the results of someone that is able to extract and ultimately implement these different qualities of a transformational leader. And it's one of the reasons I love this quote. I think it's so powerful. It says, transformational leaders lead in such a way that employees look forward to coming back, look forward to contributing, and are confident that their personal efforts are contributing to the success of the organization. In essence, people want to be around this transformational leader. People want to help this transformational leader because, again, they're able to galvanize, they're able to bring people together in order to make an impact. They make others around them better. This is part of the DNA of what I like to say a transformational leader. And then I love this quote by James McGregor Burns. He's actually the creator of this style. He says, transformational leadership is a style where one or more persons engage with others in such a way that leaders and followers raise one another to a higher level of motivation. And right, in essence, they just being in their presence is going to cause you to grow. It's going to challenge you to grow. And I don't know if you've ever been around leaders that inspire, that motivate. Just being in their presence is impactful. These are the attributes. These are the things that you can expect when you have what I call a transformational leader. And I had a lesson around this concept several years ago when I decided to not only pursue my doctoral degree, but ultimately to do my dissertation, which was the impact that transformational leadership has on the retention of millennial volunteers. Ultimately, what I wanted to know does a transformational person with a transformational leader style, does it affect retention? Does it affect engagement? And I remember when I went through this study, not only did I discover that it does have a positive correlation with retention and engagement, but there was a specific study that I had to do where I had to ask a series of questions. And one group were a set of volunteers that volunteered for more than a year. The other set were those who, they were MIA within like 3 to 6 months. But luckily we had a relationship. They just weren't helping out. And I went through these questions that revolved around the quality of transformational leadership. And there was something that really stuck out to me. And what stuck out to me was the fact that the individuals that stayed for longer than a year, they were clear on my vision. They knew exactly what the vision of the organization was. The ones that left, I don't know what kind of vision they saw because their vision was totally off from the vision that I had set forth. And when I recognized this, it was clear to me that probably one of the reasons why I wasn't retaining, I wasn't engaging, and I wasn't seeing the impact that I believe that I should see as it relates to effective leadership is because I had the vision, but I was not communicating the vision enough where people could truly see what I was trying to do. In essence, it could be possible that some people left because I wasn't able to really help them to identify the meaning, the importance, and here it comes, how that vision aligned with what they truly desired, wanted to do as it relates to making an impact in the world. And so the lesson that I learned from this particular experience is that if I was going to be more effective as a leader, I had to be more effective at communicating my vision and making sure people were clear about what the vision was. And this has been really helpful because not only did it help me become more effective as a leader, it's ultimately helped me increase retention, engagement, and ultimately to make a greater impact because I was able to extract different qualities from the style of leadership and I was able to develop, I was able to modify and make my leadership that much more better. And I think the same can be true for you. Maybe, you're doing good as a leader now, but you can go to another level. Maybe there's some minor details. Maybe there's some minor adjustments. Maybe there's some little things that you can modify that will help you to make that much more of an impact. And so what I tell people all the time, if I'm going to, it's not there. If I'm going to execute this particular leadership style, then the first thing that I have to do, number one, is I have to write down a list. What are some of the qualities of a transformational leader? And I shared with you a variety of them, but what are some specific qualities that we can identify? I talked about listening. I talked about one of the best for others. I talked about vision. I talked about having purpose, being passionate. I talked about being creative. I talked about being innovative. I talked about having character. I talked about having integrity. I talked about being ethical. I talked about being a great communicator. I talked about being inspirational. So there's a lot of qualities when it comes to transformational leadership. And you want to ask yourself, what are some qualities I can extract? Can I implement? And can I begin to develop? So for me, again, as I said earlier, it was this concept of articulating and communicating my vision better, something I had to work on. So I extracted it and then I implemented it. And then I'm still growing more and more in this skill set so that I can experience the positive results, not only of transformational leadership, but being effective at really having vision and communicating that vision to the people that I have the opportunity to serve as a leader. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to come out of here real quick. I'm going to go back to pre-phase, and we're getting ready to go back into a breakout room. And this is what I want you to do in your breakout room. You're going to go into your room for we're going to go about 10 minutes again, and you're going to have a conversation. You're going to talk about the transformational leadership style. And as I shared with you earlier, I gave you some different qualities of transformational leadership. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about what are 3 characteristics or traits of a transformational leader that will help you become more effective as a leader within your campus community. So I know we have different campuses represented here today, but what are 3 qualities of the transformational leadership style that I can if I was more of a better listener, or if I was had more integrity, or if I had been more effective at casting vision, purpose driven, maybe communicating, that would help me to make more of an impact within my campus community. I want you to go into your groups and I want you to think about what are those 3 qualities of leadership from transformational that you can implement that's going to help you make a greater impact. And when you extract those 3 qualities, I want to encourage you to write them down. If you have a piece of paper, you also have your wonderful phone, so you can type it in your notes. But I want you to write that down just so you'll have it, because we're going to need it as we go down the line. And again, I want you to meet why does that matter? Why do you have to have that leadership quality to be effective within your campus community? So you're going to have another 10 minutes. And Jason, I believe, is going to put you into your breakout room. So you're going to go into your breakout rooms, and you have 10 minutes to have a real conversation with the people in your group. And what are those 3 qualities that you can extract that's going to help you be a better leader this semester? What does that look like? And then we'll have a conversation with a few people where they can share with us all what those 3 qualities were and why they chose them. I'm really curious to see why you chose it. See, one thing I do want to share, the reason I have people share, the reason I have people to articulate, because we learn from that. We're able to learn from each other. We're able to learn, oh man, that person, that's important. Maybe I need to do that. Oh, that. So we're gonna be learning this process as well. So you're gonna have 10 minutes, and then we'll be back to go deeper into this conversation of transformational leadership. So go into your breakout rooms, and we'll see you real soon.
You're muted.
I think Dr. J is muted. Yeah.
All right, you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what I was going to say is in our session we had Anna, and Anna said something really great where she was talking about the importance of taking care of yourself and being self-aware. She really began to really chime into the fact that a lot of times we face challenges, we face obstacles, and we have to make sure that we're all right. We got to make sure that we're doing the proper work on ourselves in order to lead other people. And if you want to chime in and explain a bit more on that, that'd be great.
Thank you. Yeah, so when you said to the co-groups for us to share a couple of things, immediately when I think of leadership roles and those type of qualities, you think of the ones that are about being outspoken, maybe being driven and having motivation. But then I thought about the more internal ones that I didn't want to lose out here to share with anybody, maybe because we have all the same, have had similar experiences. And that's that when you have leadership roles and you're in positions, you have upset feelings, uncertainty, ambiguity. And those are things that as leadership roles, we're expected to kind of like suppress and hold back and hold our tongue. And I'm like, you know what, be honest with the emotion that you're feeling. It is upsetting to have a work with a group of individuals and then maybe not understand each other because we don't come to the same place at the same time. Ideally, we wish we would, but it doesn't. So then what can we do about it individually as an individual leadership role, to make that situation work so that we can get to the problems, move it faster. So I praise the challenges. I support bringing awareness to the emotions that come when you're when you're in leadership role, the expectations that are there that people have for you, and there you feel like, wow, this is really heavy. This is really heavy for you to lead this class, have a group of students there, want to give them the best takeaway, want to give them the most that you can in the time frame that you're given. And it's like you have so much, a fountain of information and wisdom to share. It's like there's so little time frame to be able to do it. And then that can even be upsetting or frustrating. So my whole thing here was, as far as the examples that you wanted me to select and bring out, was all the things that are the negative aspects that nobody wants to talk about, the leadership roles, but they're equally important because they're developing skills for us to have as people, our emotions, our own personal growth and development, places where we are in life, and then how that helps other individuals as well. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
That's great, and I love it. Keisha, what do you have to say? Keisha, I saw you up there. What do you have to say, Keisha? Is Keisha here?
Yeah, I'm here. It's a bit loud in my background because I'm outside.
Okay.
I wanted to say one of the things that I really like is leaders who always are talking about constantly learning because nobody can learn everything. Another quality I really like is the step back perspective. So no matter like what you're going through as a leader, you should always take time to step back and look at it from an outside perspective.
I love that. No, that's great. That's great. And that's so true. Step back is on so many levels, even dealing with one of the things that I talked about with a group earlier this week was we were dealing with emotional intelligence, and we were dealing with specifically when you're triggered and how do you regulate it. And sometimes it's smart to step back, gather your thoughts, think about it before you respond, because sometimes if we don't identify our triggers, we can respond without really taking the time to really think through, really digest, and really, figure out how we're going to respond to different situations. So that was really, really good. Thank you, Keisha. That was awesome. Brian Carter, are you there? Going once, going twice. All right, he's not there. Jade, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome, Jay. So Jay, what did you get? What jumped out for you?
Actually, it was what Anna said in the beginning about focusing on like being outgoing, and really I have a problem with like engaging people. I'm like very nervous and like shy in general,
Okay.
which doesn't work well because I'm in charge of a club.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like the whole thing is to get people engaged and interacting. And when I just don't have that sort of personality, it's really something that I do need to focus on to be a better leader, to like keep people coming back, to keep the engagement going on.
Well, Jade, I want to say really quickly, I think you have a great personality based on how you're talking right now. I feel your energy, I feel your enthusiasm. So I may go so far to say I think it's more of a mental thing versus an actual thing. I actually think you'd be great at motivating people. Um, what I would encourage you to do, this is based on just hearing you right here. What I would definitely encourage you, Jade, to do, that I do as a speaker, I think it always helps. Practice, 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 and practice, practice, practice again. And so the more you're talking to people, the more you're stepping out your comfort zone, the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be at sharing. And I know you may be an introvert. I do understand that. So you may be real tired afterwards. But I just want to encourage you really just to get out there more and again, I've never met you in person, but just based on what I'm feeling as you're talking, I feel really, really great energy. So so I really do.
Thank you very much for that advice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Think about the "I'm scared, so what now" concept. Keisha, break that down. I'm gonna come to you next. I see another my friend. I'm gonna come next. Mr. Chris Nifson. I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Keisha, what did you mean by that? I would love to hear that.
Sorry, I'm doing too much trying to figure out this thingy while I'm moving.
Okay.
So the I'm scared, so what now concept is, I guess I kind of created this for myself. It's where, yeah, like things are scary as a leader, you know, or just as a person in life. You want to try things, but, you know, it could be the people in your house, the neighborhood, you know, there's always barriers. So you should write down, like, okay, this is what I'm scared of, but so what now? Like, what am I going to do after that? You identified the feeling. Yeah, it sounds scary. It makes me nervous. So are you going to do it or are you going to not do it? You know, you still have that choice. So the concept of always thinking I'm scared, so what now, is for people like me, because I honestly don't like public speaking or large crowds of people very much. I use this when I have to do like talks or I'm in front of large groups of people, or, you know, just engaging with in school. And it helps a lot, you know. So that's what I mean by I'm scared, so what now?
Hey, Keisha, as I said to Jade, I think you're doing a great job at speaking. I would never know that you were scared to talk. So I just want to encourage you. As I said to Jade, practice, practice, practice. And maybe one of the reasons I'm here today is because maybe we have more in us than we actually see. You know, there's a concept that many talk about called imposter syndrome, where sometimes people feel like they're not good enough or I'm not supposed to be there. I feel that sometimes as well. So it's not something that's not uncommon. But through that, I think reaffirming yourself, affirmations, talking to yourself. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it works. And just do it. Sometimes the greatest way to overcome fear is just to do it. I think the greatest example that I can use is when I was younger, I was scared to get on roller coasters. Yes, I was scared to get on roller coasters. And so I was real tripping out about roller coasters. But the moment I got on the roller coaster and did it, it was gone. And so it just taught me that sometimes we just have to just do. And then as we do, the fear begins to eradicate. But great points. Mr. Crignificent, you're on.
Okay,
Chris?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm good. That's a wrong talk because I used to talk as well. Because some things that people mention in the group chat, I don't personally agree. Because for me, I don't believe that. I don't believe in introvert. I don't believe in extrovert. I don't believe that. Why? Because last year I took 5 classes, and the college I go to is in downtown 57th Street by 10th Avenue. I'm not gonna mention the name, but I'm gonna give you a clue that I major in criminal justice, so you kind of know what college I'm from. And I was a part of a it's like a council at John Jay, and I was there to pretty much try get petitions for the student body, and pretty much the majority of the people that work with me didn't do a good job. For me, I went around campus to get signatures, and the thing that I want people to do is to feel what I'm feeling, to get into my vision. Because the thing that I hate is when I get to my best to engage with people, they tend to get guarded. And for me, I really hate that because I used to work a job a year ago, after the new year, and the job that I worked for, one boss to be clear, so you got come down on enthusiasm, so and so. And for me, I was really mad about that guy. For me, I like that because he told me that there's a people that will come in heavy, so and so. For me, I'm like, man, that's maybe BS because if people come in guarded, that means what's the point of working for the job that you're not really passionate about? Because it doesn't make sense. If I work for a job that I'm really passionate about, I gotta go there with a smile. Despite everything that's happening around me, for me, I really don't care what happened around me because I'm not, because the Bible says that could be conformed to things of the world by doing of your mind. So I'm conformed to of my mind. I don't care what happened around me because I know that I am in peace. I have joy. Even if there's that negativity that affects people, to me, it's not going to affect my joy. Because I know I'm passionate about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'm very enthusiastic, but for me, I also am an introvert, but also I like to talk, communicate, you know? Because for me, if people give me opportunity to talk on the microphone, I would take almost like an hour to take on the microphone.
We can't have an hour. We can't have an hour here now, Chris. Chris, what happened? He left. What happened?
What happened? Yeah, well, I thought
I was gonna thank you for your comment. No, thank you for your comment. And I respect what you said. I would just say one thing I would say based on what I was able to comprehend, there's a concept called social awareness. And social awareness is an emotional intelligence skill set. And really what social awareness deals with is having an ability not only to read people, but knowing how to communicate in a way that leads to a positive result. And the reason I share that with you, because I think one of the things you talked about is I'm not going to let other people affect my joy. And you're absolutely correct. You don't want to let other people affect your joy. But then another thing you said, sometimes people are turned off. And that's just part of what it is. And our responsibility is really to be able to read that and to know how to respond the right way where we don't let it not only affect us, but affect them. I love what one person said earlier this week in a training. We were talking about social awareness, and they said that people sometimes have, I guess the word they used was skimpy. I don't even know what the word means, but it's a negative connotation, whatever it is. But they said I turned the negative into a positive. So like for instance, if someone is like responding in a negative way, maybe they just don't want to be bothered. Maybe they're going through some major issues and they have that right. But if they're coming in with the negative, you just never know what people are going through. And Susan Taylor once said that hurt people hurt people. And so a lot of times, sometimes negative expression, negative behavior is a product of what someone is going through. And so in order to communicate with them, sometimes they just don't want to be bothered, or just sometimes maybe they don't want to be bothered what you're talking about. And I think it's just important to not only know how to communicate to people like that, but also not let that affect you or affect what you're going to do next, if that makes perfect sense. Um, and one of the things that I know brought up when dealt with George Floyd, when the George Floyd situation happened, I heard a lot of Black professionals said, "I don't feel like being bothered. Don't talk to me," because they're working through stuff. And so there's going to be things that people are going to work through. I know you said no one in America has an issue, but there are people that have issues. Chris, I promise you, there are some people that are dealing with some major issues. And being aware of that and being empathetic and knowing how to navigate that is so important. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Asumani, how you doing?
Yes, sir. Good. I just wanted to share what we discussed in a breakout room. We spoke of a couple of different things, but they all seem very, very connected.
Yeah.
So Estelle started us off with transparency, and she explained that this is important to help the team on one page and just going in the same direction, having which leads us also to the second point, kind of we're talking about, say, team on the same page and having the same vision and looking toward the same goals. And and what is important in that is communication, as Cynthia mentioned. This is what would help the team establish a rapport and work towards a common goal. Melissa also highlighted being innovative in the team. She explained her own scenario as she dealt with professors and students in her school. And I also personally can relate to that. You never know, student or professor, they may be going through tough times, or maybe just a crisis that they're trying to unwind from that happened in the classroom. And so it's very important to be inspiration in that regard, and trying to understand, as you mentioned earlier, being like emotionally intelligent and kind of seeing when a professor is going through a tough time, or a fellow student, and trying to motivate them and instill that enthusiasm in them to get out of whatever situation they're going through. And then Estelle also spoke about toward the end, flexibility. And she said it's important not to be rigid as a leader. And I also just chimed in to say like being unconventional. So it's not always, you don't always follow the rules with everyone. She explained that everyone is not the same. Not everyone thinks the same. So you sometimes have to go the unconventional route and sort of recognize the strengths and needs of other team members. And this is what we discussed in short.
Man, that's great stuff. That's great stuff. I love it. Lot of great information. Thank you for bringing it all together as well. And you all actually set me up for our next style of leadership. But real quick, we can give everyone a round of applause. Thank y'all so much for sharing. And Chris, ask me any questions you want as well. Though that was just great stuff. That was great stuff. What I'm gonna do really quickly is reach my second point. Oh, it's not. You got to be kidding me. Okay, sorry everyone. Make sure my PowerPoint's working. Okay, let me get this back. All right. I'm gonna go to my second point real quick because I'm gonna start here as we go into my second point. And let me get a haircut. Sorry everyone. I usually have a video producer, so this is all I'm like learn as I go. But real quick, you lead me to my next one because one of the things that I often share with people are things what they call microaggressions. These are a set of microaggressions, and anyone that's not familiar with the microaggressions are specifically things that people say and do that offend people without them actually knowing. So for instance, an example of microaggression, how many have heard someone say, you can't do this because you are a woman? That'd be a microaggression. Or you're too old or young to do a job. That could be a microaggression. Or you speak great English as a person of color. That would be a microaggression. And these happen all the time within the workplace. I'm sure many of you, if you got on here and started sharing, you could talk about some microaggressions that you've experienced. According to Pfizer, these microaggressions lead to stress, trauma, anxiety, self-doubt, frustration, isolation, depression, hostility, anger, resentfulness, and feeling invisible. This is the impact of people saying and doing things without knowing the impact of their words or their behavior. The reason why I share that with you, because my second style of leadership is this word of inclusive leadership. And I think this is a really powerful concept when it comes to leadership, because when it deals with inclusive leadership, not only do they appreciate, support, empower people that are different from them, but they really believe in creating a culture of belonging through respect, collaboration, equitable practices, and really creating positive change through policies, behavior, and exceptional solutions. In essence, an inclusive leader, number one, is someone that loves people. They understand what it means to lead with love. They respect, they honor, they value, they celebrate, and they appreciate. they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they're equitable. And what that means is really creating resources and opportunities for everyone. They care about people, they're listeners, they give people a voice, they're culturally competent, collaborative, open-minded, they have humility, they're self-aware, they're trustworthy. These are all the characteristics of an inclusive leader. And one of the things that I've discovered that being an inclusive leader is so critically important when it comes to effective leadership. And one of the reasons why is, number one, it increases retention, productivity, and engagement. So you're seeing, again, the more inclusive I am as a leader, the more likely I'm going to see an increase in retention, productivity, engagement, but also there's more innovation, there's more solutions, there's greater physical, mental, emotional wellness. So a lot of the things that we were talking about are really aligned with someone that is what I would call an inclusive leader. And in essence, an inclusive leader, number one, they want to help people reach their fullest potential. And one of the ways they help people reach their fullest potential is through being culturally intelligent, through being a curious learner, through really getting to know people, really building social awareness. They're able to create what I call a culture of belonging. They create an environment, a culture where people can thrive, where they feel like family, where they feel motivated, they're excited to come. Man, I'm getting pumped with that one. They're empathetic about when people are going through things, when they're going through challenges. You know, one of the studies that I came across on a new program that I'm doing is calling Gen Y Trends for Leaders. And again, dealing with Generation Z is those born from 1995 to 2010. One of the things that really was eye-opening was how many of these emerging professionals, these leaders, these students that are part of the generation are dealing with stress, anxiety, feeling burnt out. It was amazing of how high that is. And so going back to Chris's point, when people don't feel like being bothered, maybe because they're stressed, they're overwhelmed. It's just so much going on. When we deal with disengagement, all that goes back to what people are going through. And the challenge for leaders is really, how do I understand that and then begin to develop solutions to those challenges? And again, that comes with an inclusive leader. That's one of the things that they seek out. They create places for personal wellness. They allow people to have their space. They create spaces where you feel loved, you feel celebrated, you feel honored, you feel appreciated, you feel respected. These are some of the qualities of an inclusive leader. And again, one of the reasons I share with you why this is so important, because there was a study I think is real powerful. It says 63% of people who are recognized by leadership were more unlikely to look for a new job. So ultimately, the more I appreciate, the more I celebrate, the more I value, the more I honor, the more likely people are going to want to come back, the more engaged they're going to be. And that's really one of the things we got to consider as a leader. You know, how can we appreciate people more? How can we honor people more? How can we motivate people more? How can we encourage people more? How can we create spaces where people can thrive and they can succeed? This is part of what I like to call inclusive leadership. And there was a story that I shared. And Jason, you may have heard, you heard me speak so many times, you may have heard the story. But several years ago, there was a major catastrophe in Haiti. I'm not sure if you're familiar. 2010-11, there was a major earthquake where hundreds and thousands of people were impacted. And during this time, there was a group of celebrities or artists that came together to remake the song "We Are the World." And as you can see in this, you have Lionel Richie, you have Nicole Hudson, you have LL Cool J, you have Brandy, you have all kinds of different artists, Kanye West, from different genres of music. And what they were able to do is come together to remake this song in order to do three things: to raise awareness, to inspire people to give, and ultimately make an impact. So all these different artists came together to ultimately make an impact. Now, the reason I'm sharing this story with you, because what's fascinating is, number one, it's diverse. If you look on the screen, you see Usher there as well. It's very diverse. You have different cultures, you have different genders, you have different personalities, you have different music. So that's the first thing that stands out. The next two things that stand out is it was clear they had, at each artist had everything they needed to perform at an optimum level. So there's this equity and there's this sense of belonging. People are happy, they're smiling, they're excited. Again, you're seeing this kind of culture be created. And then the thing I want to point out is they were inclusive. They allowed people to be their authentic self. In essence, they didn't have one genre of music. There was a variety of music that was used in order to create this product. So you had gospel, you had hip hop, you had pop, you had soft rock, you had just all these genres of music. And all of this was to make an impact. And in order for this to happen, it required leadership. If I had you in press, say leadership to lead diverse groups of people as an inclusive leader with equity-minded practices that create a sense of belonging. In essence, you had diverse people, you had someone that was inclusive, you had equity practices, and you had a culture of belonging that made a huge impact. And so as a leader in your shoes, if I'm thinking about you, the question I want to ask myself is ultimately, what qualities can I extract from inclusive leadership that's going to help me serve? I can tell you one thing. I know that love is going to help. I know that appreciation is going to help. I know that empathy is going to help. I know that cultural intelligence is going to help. I know being able to create a space where people feel a sense of belonging, that's definitely going to make a difference. And so once you begin to write down these different qualities of inclusive leadership, then you would ask yourself the question, what are 3 that I can work on? What are 3 specific skills that I can work on? And then how do I plan to implement it? In essence, if I looked on the screen right now and I see the different qualities of an inclusive leader, what are 3 that I could work on? I could extract that'll help me serve students or my campus community. But I want you all to think about that for a moment. And that's why I'm taking my time. Instead of going into a break, I will do it collectively. I want you to think for a moment. There's love, there's respect, there's honor, there's value, celebrate, appreciate, empathy, compassion, equitable, care, listen, culturally competent, collaborative, open. There's all these qualities. When you think about your campus community, when you think about your role as a student leader, in order to ensure that you're more effective at influencing, motivating, inspiring, making an impact, transforming lives, what qualities do you think would be most important for you to extract? I just want you to think about it for a moment. And I'm going to turn it off real quick, my screen. And I want to pull up some people. Based on what you saw, what is a skill set that you think would be advantageous for you? Anybody want to share? I get to call on someone. Okay. Susan Guerrero, how you doing? Susan there? Moving on. Oh, there we go. Okay, Chris, I'm ready to. Okay, Chris, take it away.
Man, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it very, very much, man. I forgot. What's the question again?
The question is, what is one quality of inclusive leadership that you can extract that'll help you become a better leader?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be very, very honest, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. So the job I told you before, right? Remember, it was in month of January. So the month of January we did a Martin Luther King Day service. So that day, I'm not gonna lie, it was hectic. Man, it was a chaos, man. But we was able to get work done. But it was like mad people. They had to wake up for 5 o'clock in the morning and go back home for the 5 o'clock in the night. You know what I'm saying? It was like mad. It was packed. You know, 'cause we was working at school in High Bridge. So I woke up back home. I was meditating and think to myself, because for me, like I mentioned, for me, I had to become a better leader. So the next day, when I went back to the office, I moved all the people that's working with me for MBK Day. I went to the supermarket and I got like a one cake and pretty much one ice cream for today all the hard work that my group has done. Now I'm not a leader. I'm a active leader. an acting leader. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I told you Jack over there, but pretty much I tell them the guys pretty sure Charles all did a good job. I was very enthusiastic there. I said guys, since we did a good job for MK Day, I got ice cream and cake. You there was hype, man. Yo, I was hype. I was hype. You know what I'm saying? There was hype, but
So
it was good. It was good.
So Chris, you brought the energy, you appreciated people, you basically let them know that you appreciated them and you were just excited to be around them. Am I accurate with that?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
How'd the event go?
What happened?
How'd the event go? It was a good event?
Yeah, I'm not gonna the mother MKD their service was a good event, but it was chaos because you got like I work for an organization, right? It's a big company, so it's like 10 or 1,000 members come together to work in one school, so it's chaotic. But some people did get heated, and then some people didn't want to do work and so and so because it was a long day too. But for me, it was alright because I understand the meaning of it. The day of service to help the community, help the people. So for me, that's what I got from it. I don't know if I was got from it, but that's what I got from it.
Okay. Awesome, Chris. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Danima, I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Raja, what do you want to share?
Yeah, for me, one that I would probably have to work on would be being empathetic,
Okay.
because you have to know how to like connect with people more than just like talking. Like you have to understand people and knowing what they're going through, so
Yeah.
that way you feel like they're a part of something.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Man, that's great stuff, Raja. That's great stuff. That's great stuff. Danima, you're up.
Hi, it's Taima, but
Oh, Daima, sorry about that. How you
I'm
doing?
good. I'm good. So I will honestly say a skill, like a leadership or skill set that I personally want to work on or have like be more workshops towards and doing is like boundaries. Learning like emotional boundaries or having like set like bonding boundaries with people. Sometimes I feel like I usually go above and beyond just because I feel like I'm programmed just to help people and be there for everybody. And I have to like learn like, hey, you need to take a step back and relax and chill.
So you have to learn how to say no, huh?
Hmm.
You're like, "Mhm." So what's
No,
your
like
role? What's your
no,
leadership
or like
role?
saying like no, yeah, no, like goes to somebody else. Like there's other people to help you.
What's your leadership role?
Right now I am SGA president and I'm also a SOS for student leadership.
Okay, so you're the president
Yeah. Yeah.
and you do everything.
Yeah. Jason over there nodding his head. I mean, I've learned, like, especially from Jason, I've learned that how to like separate workload from like putting on people, knowing that there was this one workshop we had that was really great about how you need people to be able to do things, or else you're just going to overload yourself and not be able to do anything at all.
Yep.
And I learning how to do that, but it's like also putting that emotional, like I'm too empathic. I feel that I put too much emotions into things, or I'll feel that I'm like, I know what it is to be hurt and I know what it is not to have anything. So I really want to be out there and be there and try to do as much. But it's like, I gotta take care of myself first. It's hard. I don't know.
You do, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else.
Yeah, that's what I be hearing. That's what I always heard that.
Yeah. And also the more empty your tank is, the more harder it is to give your best. So one of the challenges that I think a lot of people make, myself included, is sometimes we spread ourselves too thin that we can't actually make as much as impact as we could. Right. So everything we're running on empty versus actually running at our full capacity. And so what I would encourage you to do, as I'm talking, is I would encourage you to identify what is your capacity, what does that look like, where you can be at an optimum level. So you have to figure that one out. And then once you identify what that would look like, then begin to determine what type of things do I need to do from a self-care standpoint to ensure I can stay at that optimum level. And then you
I
got to
love
stay committed to it. And you went
Okay,
quiet on
yeah.
Huh?
Okay, I like that. That's why I'm processing it here. And I'm just like, okay, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like knowing what your plate and what you hold on your plate is how much you basically can do.
Yeah, like what does that look like? You know, I'll never forget. I'll just share. I know my time is of the essence. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget. Several years ago when I started speaking, I wanted to speak in high school, colleges, corporate. I wanted talk show. I had like all these different stuff. I still have a lot of stuff, but one of the things I realized is I can't do everything. There's no way, and so I had to narrow down what's important, and until I could perfect that at a certain level, then I could step to something else. And no matter how bad I want to do it, I have to ask myself the question, what matters most to me? And for me, my biggest excitement is speaking. Like I love talking. So everything else that I could do, that's good. That's awesome. I can't do it because I don't have the capacity. Because then you burn yourself out, then you become exhausted. And here's the worst thing. The worst thing is when you get so drained that even a thing you used to love to do, you don't love doing it no more. And that's where you don't want to get to. Sorry, Dan. I know you're processing it, but you got me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Melissa, how you doing, Melissa?
I'm doing well.
Now, where are you
How do
coming?
you? City Tech.
Okay. You said more open-minded, self-aware, and effective communicator, correct?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel like sometimes when I'm in certain situations, I close myself off and I I don't look for help or I won't reach out. So everything just falls on myself. So I feel like I have a lot of pressure on myself instead of looking to the people that I can ask for help. So being more communicative that way, telling people that I need the help. Because everybody tells me, if you need the help, then just say it. And I'm like, I know, but I don't like talking to people. I'm kind of shy.
Okay.
So I have to get out of it so that I can be more open.
How come you don't like to ask for help?
I don't know. I've always been that way.
Okay. So for me, I shared this yesterday. So we have a nonprofit organization, and in order to do what we need to do, I got to ask for money. I do not like to ask for money. But what I realize is that it's not about me, it's about what needs to get done. And so once I rephrased it from focusing on myself to actually what needs to get done, it helped me to be more courageous in asking for help. And so sometimes as leaders, we have to reframe our thinking in order to help us to actually get things done. Like I'll never forget, and I'm coming back. I know I'm going to serve, but they're coming back when I heard TD Jakes once said that he knew a guy that had a great speaking opportunity. Like it was a big opportunity. And speaking, when you have big opportunities where you have lots of people that can literally change your life. And he had this opportunity and he was worried, like, man, what do I say? What do I do? And all these nerves are coming to him. And then he said to him, you've already missed it. And he said, what do you mean? He said, you're more focused on yourself than actually the people that you're coming to serve. And he said, if you start focusing on the people and just making an impact in the people's lives, then that'll take out everything else. It's kind of like a mother. I think a mother and a child relationship. If you notice, if you do anything to a mother's child, I don't care who you are, that mother's gonna fight you. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care who. Like, you could be like, if you watch World Wrestling Federation and the Undertaker, the big 7-foot person, if you mess with a mama's child, she don't care. She's like, let's go.
For sure.
It's like all fear goes away because she loves her child so much that everything else just doesn't matter. It's something about caring about people so much that everything else doesn't matter. And so I think for you, seeing what you do and identifying how much it matters may be the thing that enables you to ask for help. Like understanding if I don't ask for help, then something's not going to get done. And if something doesn't get done, then someone's going to be impacted. And really, this is where leadership comes, right? Because if leadership is about service, the only reason we should be in a leadership position is because ultimately we want to make an impact.
Yeah, I get you.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. So, and this is good because so ultimately leadership emerges out of a desire to meet a need. I'm getting inspired now. Okay, we're about to go with this. I got 10 minutes, but I'm getting inspired now. I'm about to break this. Y'all still with me? 'Cause now I just felt my inspiration. So leadership is emerged out of a desire to serve, right? So the reason I lead is because I want to serve and help somebody else. The caveat with that is that financial resources are connected to solving a problem. So people that make lots of money are most likely solving a problem that others, they got the opportunity to solve the problem, or maybe they're just the only one to solve it. Whatever the case may be, people are financially in good position because they're solving some type of problem. So as a person that wants to be in a good place financially, what type of problems can I solve within my area of expertise? And there's also the budget. I'm not, there's more to that, but I'm just saying, what problem am I solving? Going back to leadership, if I'm going to be an effective leader, what problems am I solving or do I need to solve in order to ultimately make a greater impact? Right? What is that problem? What does that look like? That comes back to service. Maybe it's people need to be encouraged. Maybe people need to be motivated. Maybe this is the big one. This is a big one. Maybe people need someone to help them navigate personal pain, personal issues, personal challenges. This is part of the umbrella of servant leadership. I'm gonna show it to y'all now because I'm just getting inspired now. I gotta go on it. It's my favorite one of all the one I've shared, and I was not gonna share, but now I gotta share it to y'all so y'all can see. First of all, y'all did a great job. It's servant leadership. I'm gonna go somewhere with this. So it's the ability where you understand, leader, not only am I there to serve people, but I'm doing everything I can to ensure that people have everything they need to reach their fullest potential. So there's one aspect called conceptualization. When there's chaos, when there's confusion, when people don't know what to do, sometimes all they need is vision. And so in order to get people organized, in order to get people unified, what I need to do as a leader is bring forth vision that everyone can get around. The next one is foresight, a forward thinker. When I'm serving people and I care about my team and I care about the organization, I'm always asking myself the question, what types of things can I do to ensure that we're growing and that we become better? There's this commitment to growth. There's this of building community. And as I said earlier, there's this thing of healing. What am I doing to ensure that I am at an optimum level to serve as a leader? What do I need to work on within myself? And then how can I help others be in that same place as well? And another thing I like to talk about, I'm not gonna go through all this because of time, is the thing of persuasion. One of the things I tell people all the time when it comes to friends, I love people who can see things in me that I don't see in myself. Like they can motivate me to do stuff because they see something I didn't see in myself. And as leaders, sometimes you have to help people to see what they don't see in themselves. I did it here. When I was talking to Jade and Jay's still here, awesome, and Keisha, I told them, they're like, I don't really like to talk. I'm not that good a talker. And I said, no, you're a great talker. I had a great experience with you. I'm actually, and that was an honest, authentic answer. I was very, very honest. But when I think about it, I saw that maybe me affirming and letting them know that they have that ability may be the thing that enables them to talk more, enables them to come out their shell. And that's part of leadership, to affirm, I like to use the word activate people that may not see things in themselves. And that's part of servant leadership. And again, this is why I say leadership this is why we need leadership training, y'all. This is here it goes. I've talked about a whole lot of different things. We've talked about so much different stuff, so many different things, but this is why leadership training is important. This is why you come to programs like this, because you're hearing it, you're learning it, but now the question becomes, are you going to apply it? Or what are you going to take? You're not going to be able to take all this stuff, but what is one thing you can take that you'll be able to work on so you can become that much more better as a leader? Melissa, you got me talking a lot, but that's where I was at. I still have some time. Real quick, Dama, since you said you're loving this so much, I want to ask some people, what is one thing you're walking out of this leadership session today that you're going to work on and you're going to perfect?
Are you asking me?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, so since I showed up late right now, I say from what you've been speaking about, and especially like your aspiration and like your motivation, it like radiates a lot just from being here. Like I automatically like feel it, and I very much like wanted to speak with Jason to see if you're able to come back to like have you for another workshop, because I'm like pinpointing people who have this that motivates students, and like
I'm
that's
getting stronger
something.
now. I'm actually getting energized, Dame. I'm Jason, believe it or not, I'm getting my energy now. Like I'm like at the 2 hour mark. I'm starting to get my energy now, Dame.
That's what I'm saying. I see that, and I love that so much, because that really brings me out and makes me like want to be like, yeah, that's what I want to be like. I want to leave Hostos like feeling like this, to do this for other students, to speak to them that way. That's like what I really want to motivate to be, and to just be able to do that for people all around, and to have that kind of feeling of just like I feel good, and I feel good in what I'm doing, and I feel good in talking to others to tell them that. So that's like one big thing I'm gonna like, I always try to grasp from workshops, and I'm like really grasping from you being here.
I want to give you one more thing, Dame. I'm going to some other people. I'm not getting off yet. But Dame, I want to say this to you. Every day you lead from a place of loving people. Just keep that with you.
Yep, amen.
What does it look like for someone to fully be loved? In a good way. Because, sometimes people say love you and that's all, we'll talk about that, but yeah. You got that. Awesome. Can I get another volunteer? Some you're taking away real quick. Can I get like 4 people? I know we're almost over time, but real quick. Adrian, I ain't talked to you in a minute.
Greetings. Yes. Yes. So one thing I would love to improve actually for leadership roles is like more community and more engagement in my school.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because, as an example, in City Tech, there's a building called Voorhees. That's the engineering building. We feel left out compared to like the main building. It's not like many students that get involved. There's a lot of clubs and stuff going on, but I don't see people interacting. Like, I want to build more connections and I want to build more community, because we all go to school together. And I feel like that's one thing that everybody should always work on, is just learning how to like get more involved and just networking, so that way guys can build more experiences together and learn different type of roles and stuff like that. So that's a great opportunity to like connect. And that's something I always wanted to work on, is more community work.
Okay, so you're going to create more community on your campus.
Yes, correct.
That's awesome. I'm sure that's going to help a lot of people. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Christine, agree with you as well. Community engagement. Asumani. I know I said it wrong. Sorry. I'm so sorry, but
Yeah, you
I'm
got
working.
it.
I'm
You got
working.
it.
I'm improving. I'm improving.
Dr. J, you got it. Yeah, so one thing that I would like to take from this and work on and develop is inclusivity, and inclusivity more so in the sense of decision making. So in any one of the communities that I'm involved in, I want to make sure that when it comes to making decisions, that we have everyone on board, so that we don't leave any idea behind. Since leadership, after all, it's about leading people. So I want to make sure that we get as much input as possible from the people that we are leading, and make sure that they are represented.
That's great. That's great. Collaboration. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. Raja.
For me, what I took out of this was that to understand that leadership is about service and serving other people, and it's not just about yourself, and getting other people involved and understanding what they want to make sure that they're better off.
I love it. I love it. Awesome service. Yep. That's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. Anna.
Here I am. Hi.
Hi. Anything you want to share that you're walking away with?
Taking away, just there's so much. There's so much things I learned from here today, though. A lot of I love your slides that you gave. I felt like it was so organized, and it was so well put, well thought out, and actually taught me a lot of terminology that I didn't realize that I was trying to become a transformational leader, that there was such a term for it. And sometimes that's a little bit that comes with growing into our roles and what we're going into. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And my biggest takeaway here would be the motivation you have for every student to be encouraged in whatever form of leadership that they're going to go in, and that they're going to aspire to or going to develop and cultivate here. That you came from a background that you were able to share some of your own experiences, and I think that was the biggest takeaway, that it was relatable. Everything from the beginning and the end, from the slides, and as educative and supportive as it was completely relatable. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I haven't heard from this person, but you're on my heart. Genevieve, are you there, Genevieve?
Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, Genevieve? I've seen your name, so I had to. What is something you're walking away with?
Okay. And this was kind of a refreshing to my memory when you said leadership is a form of service. It reminds me of one of the social work code of ethics that I did in my undergrad. And one of the things that I'm working away with, I'll try my best, or I'll do my best to be a better communicator.
That's great. I love it. I love it. I love
Oh,
it.
and by the way, I'm coming from CUNY SPS.
Okay. Okay. No, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal communication. So I'm glad you talked. See, you're working. I tell people communication is all about practice.
Yeah,
The
but
more you do it,
sometimes I feel a bit shy.
that's normal. That's normal. That's normal. We all feel shy. We all get nervous. Yeah. In different environments. Believe it or not, I get shy too. When you don't know people, you don't know how they're going to react to you. But the more you keep doing it and keep doing it, the better you're going to get. So that's great. One more person. Keisha, what are you walking away with? Is Keisha there?
Man, there's been so much today. I feel like the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this session was, I don't know, I feel like it's more acknowledging, happening to step back and self-reflect to see where I can grow in areas of my life.
I love it. And you're going to keep talking, right?
Yeah, I essentially just end up in positions where I have to talk to people. So I just get comfortable with it.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, I'm 2 minutes over, so I don't want to, I know other obligations, but I want to thank you all so much. Despite the circumstances, there was takeaways, and that's very important. So there goes Jason. There goes Jason coming on the screen. We worked this thing out, y'all, today. We worked it out today. Who would have ever thought? Another memory to write in the journal book, right? But it's been great to be here. Jason, you're in the same place as me, so I don't know what you want to close out with. But again, thank you all so much. It's been great to connect with you. Feel free to connect me on LinkedIn, and it's in Jason's hands. Although we're in the same place, but you know.
So, and Josh, could you just lower the. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you, Josh. I mean, this is the craziest thing, but my view of this is Josh brings inspiration wherever he goes. And so I think this is a message from a higher power saying no more virtual. Next year, we got to go back to in person. Josh showed up at my door. We're here. We're in real life, real time. So next year, we'll meet in person back again as we used to do before the pandemic. And I hope that some of you will come and join us. But I want to take a moment to thank you all for your participation in this workshop, also this week. As I've said multiple times this week, this is really important to me. The reason why we've done it for 16 years is because this is kind of how I started here at Hostos back in December of, oh my God, 2008 and 2007 and January 2008, doing these workshops. And so we've tried to keep them up, and we've opened them up to CUNY students across the campuses because we felt that it's really important that you have an opportunity to do leadership development in a time where there's not a lot going on CUNY-wide, right? We have a conference coming up later on in February. We have some things coming on down the road. But right now in January, it's pretty quiet except for like winter classes that people are taking. So I always thought it was a really important event to hold. And I want to thank you all for donating your time, for being actually super involved in the workshops and with the presenters. Everybody's had a good week. Josh was even saying he's getting motivated at 2 hours in after a flight and everything else that he went through. But you know, we have everybody who I spoke to after the workshops really was inspired by the work that you did and their work with you. So just a little tidbits, and I'll put this in an email because I know people had to leave and I don't want to hold you here too long. I'm going to send an email with the links to all of the videos, which will be on YouTube so that you can review them. We'll also have a survey. When you fill out the survey, we'll get the details from you about what campus you're from and things like that, and your names and things, and then we'll get the certificates out to you. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet. It's either going to be electronic where you can just download it yourself, or if you guys are really desire it, I can bring it or have it sent to your campuses for your directors to give out to you. I got to work out those details. I'll meet with them tomorrow, so I'll talk to them. But I want to acknowledge that, you know, I want to celebrate you. This is just the beginning. All of the work that you've done this week should lend to everything that you're going to do along your journey. And I'll repeat this once again. It's on tape so that when you review the videos, you'll know this. You've committed to me. And what I say to my students on the campus, Damon knows this, Brian knows this, Elizabeth knows, I love people in it. I will write your recommendation. You committed to being here during these workshops in January, and I will be here for you. So if you need a letter of recommendation, we'll work it out, work out the details. But part of that recommendation will be the fact that you participated in this very unique series of workshops in January, and I'm more than willing to do that. Also, if you need any support with your campuses to learn about things or get things done, reach out to me. I'm more than willing to bug your directors, your coordinators, because they're supposed to be my friends. So I asked them to send this information out to you, so they did that. So I'm sure they'll listen to me if I bring something up to them. But that being said, I want to honor your time and really appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of this week. If you can go out this weekend and do a volunteer activity for MLK Day, do it. We used to do that as part of this project. It's been a little bit more complicated. I did post on our Facebook page and our Instagram, so you can join us there, Hostos Student Leadership Academy. You can link up with me in LinkedIn. I saw a lot of people hooking up with people in LinkedIn so that you have me as a resource. And Josh, I'm sure, will connect with you on LinkedIn. So please do all these things and let's continue to have a conversation. Don't think of me as, you know, your long lost uncle. Think of me as the guy around the corner who you can go and visit if you really need a favor, because I am here for you. I'm right up here up in the corner of the Bronx, wherever it is that you're coming from, whether it's Brooklyn or Staten Island or Manhattan or Queens or the Bronx itself. So please feel free to reach out. And I wish you all the best, and please keep me updated on your leadership journey. One thing that happened yesterday, I just want to say this one last thing. A young lady who did these workshops last year posted on LinkedIn the last 2 days that she got a really, really exclusive position with a political figure. I'm not going to go into any more details than that. I simply wrote, congratulations, you know, and LinkedIn, as you write congratulations to people for the things that they do. And she wrote back to me that the reason why she felt like she had the power to get from where she was to where she is now is partially because of what happened at the winter workshops, that they made a deep impression on her, that she was still using the skills that she learned from last year's workshops, and that it benefited her. And that made my heart melt, of course, because that's the reason why we're doing this, so that you all can pursue all your leadership journeys. So whether it's, you know, becoming the president of the United States, as we heard Keisha is going to do, or doing something else, getting that internship you want, leading that club that you have to lead, being the chief executive of a student government and leading that way, or doing any of the other things that you want to see done in your leadership journey, know that I'm here to support you. And I want to hear about all the success stories that you have, because I know you'll have them. And that being said, I have to close out the winter workshops for 2024. It's the beginning of the year, so it's not the end. It's just the beginning for all of us. And Josh, let me give you a hug.
Yeah.
This goes in the record book, the first online workshop from my office. That's true. Here we go, new virtual, going back into the regular world. Take care, everybody. Nice to
Thank
see
you
you.
so
Thank you for
much.
being here. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
New
Thank you,
Year. Josh,
Jason.
take care.
You'll hear from me
Bye,
later.
everybody.